One of the things looking back at my growing up years as one of four boys is realizing that my parents, especially my father, got a lot of free labor out of us. And one of the things that we got taught to do quite frequently is to wash the cars. And there was sort of even more of an agreement once you began driving those cars that, hey, you need to be a part of taking care of them. And when I say washing the cars, it was very thorough, and you had to do it, in a certain way, starting with the tires, and then the front and the back end, and then the lower panels on the sides, and then you get the top. And then after everything's wet, then you chamois it down real quick so it gets a nice shine. And then we were also part of the waxing production of those cars as well. And I will say, though, that when we were going around town, we did have some of the nicest, cleanest cars most of the time as we looked around. There's a different way that God might be trying to clean up our act that he's inviting us to in the scriptures today. They don't recognize Jesus for who he is. And there's an issue with that. And even though he's already showing through some signs who he is, it rubs up against the expectation they have for both Jesus and for who the Christ is. There's a sense that there needs to be more of a proof, especially along the criteria that they're setting. We hear that in the first reading from the Book of Wisdom, that let's challenge this a little bit, this righteous man, because he's challenging us in what we're doing. We want to do what we do. That was the wicked talking, and even he's not really showing the true gentleness of his love. For us in the Lenten season, we're invited first of all to ask those questions that sometimes we don't normally ask or like to avoid, which is, who do we really expect Jesus to be for us? And can we, instead of basing our relationship with God on our own criteria, can we not instead ask God to show us what all that he's trying to do, but also in a more of a sense of that humility of saying that maybe God knows what he's doing. Maybe God has a much broader perspective that whatever I need to know of that, he'll reveal to me, but then I need to defer to the rest. There's always that sense of a bit of humility, which is part of a trust. And if we really need any proofing, there's always, I think, the slam dunk, what God has shown us through the death of his son on the cross and his resurrection. And the Paschal mystery is always what we go back to say, oh yeah, God knows what he's doing, and I need to trust, humbly trust into that. God has that bigger picture in mind. And what it is for us is through his gentleness, it is for our goodness. Part of my father's wanting us to take charge of cleaning the cars, washing and waxing them, was that this was back in the 70s and 80s. If you didn't do that, those cars would rust a lot quicker. And he had that longer term perspective that us teenagers may not have had. But because we participated in that, better things happened. And oh, by the way, we really did learn how to do a lot of good work and have a good work ethic as well. Trusting the Father, having the bigger picture, and doing so with humility is what I think part of the Word of God is inviting us to today and throughout this Lenten season. May we continue looking upon Jesus on the cross and seeing the power of his resurrection in our lives, put our humble trust in him.